Well, welcome everyone to this episode of Your Music, Your Story. We're out in Glendale, California, and we're talking with Justin Powell.
Hi, how's it going? I'm Cheez.
So is that what it is? I've
Yeah.
seen on your Facebook that was a Cheez.
No, it is. It's Cheez. I've had the nickname since I was like 13. I'm like, since I was maybe even a little bit before. I just grew up like a shithead punk rock kid, just a dirty punk rock kid. That's it. I mean,
Nice.
I'm old now. I mean, I'm 36, but it's, from back in the day, like, do you remember, were you around for the Showcase Theater in Corona?
No, I've only been there for about 15 years.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. You fucking missed that one. There was this little venue, a little hole-in-the-wall venue in Corona called the Showcase, and it didn't matter how old you were or where you came from or what you were doing. It's like you could go down there to a punk show and do backflips off the stage, and it was totally good.
I want to say something because I know the guy that I used to play in a band with. He's mentioned something about a showcase.
Yeah, there's a documentary. There's a documentary that's done about it that I'm hoping they do some showings of it in Riverside, but I'm hoping that something happens with it to where it ends up in everybody's hands sooner than later.
Well, that'd be nice.
It's a really bitchin' documentary, but it's like a huge part of my childhood. That's why I ask if you know about it, because being like a shithead punk rock kid, if any of your listeners are like into punk rock and were around back then, they're gonna be like, "Cheez, I fucking know what he's talking about," and they probably have seen me fucked up at the Showcase or something, or saw me get fucked up at the Showcase or some shit. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I guarantee they will, because that's a lot of the bands I used to play with, or the ones that played in, they're all from Riverside. They're all from that area. That's where they all grew up, so I guarantee they know.
Yeah, it's crazy, the scene. Riverside has always given LA a run for its money as far as like bands and like raw talent that a general area has to offer, but as far as opportunities go, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a different story.
Oh my
but I mean, there's bands like, you got Alien Ant Farm and, Mantis came out of there. I mean, who else? There's several others. I mean, there's even like, bands that have like done music. I think 98 Degrees did a music video in fucking Riverside.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You should scope it out. It's pretty funny. It's like you see the Fox Theater and stuff down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice now.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But yeah, there's, as far as talent and stuff goes, I really do think there's been like a lot of really, really great bands to be had and enjoy. And, if you didn't care, it's kind of like kids and like name brand cereal, right? If you didn't care that it didn't come from fucking Warner Brothers Records or Sony or something like that, and you just wanted to hear good music, you could really just do local bands.
Yeah.
And if you're from Southern California, you could really get by just by listening from local bands and really kind of have a pretty happy life. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's why I started this whole podcast. So I stopped playing in bands probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And that's, I noticed, just miss playing with a lot of those, the no-name nobodies, but they're still good.
Yeah.
And they're fun to listen to.
Playing with bands as they come up and stuff too, man. I was in, so I spent like a lot of my adult life touring and stuff. I was in a band called Deserters that was signed to Media Scare.
Okay.
And we toured a lot with like Murder, Death, Kill, The Last 10 Seconds of Life, Kublai Khan, I don't know. I mean, King Conquer, Bermuda. I could name a bunch, but we toured a lot. And one of the things I can tell you about like... local bands to national bands and signed bands and all that stuff. It really, sometimes it's just like you will be touring, right? And there'll be a couple opening bands that are locals, and then the next thing you know, a few years have passed and you're not doing it anymore, and there's this band Power Trip everybody's talking about, or there's like there's one of my favorite bands right now is this band called I Am, and they're out of Texas.
Okay.
And they're doing huge tours. They're like blowing up. They're doing amazing things. I'm such a fanboy for their music. And I email them but I slide into their DMs like, hey, motherfuckers, I just love your band. I don't, and they're like, yeah, Cheez, we love Deserters too. And it's like, what the fuck, man? And they're like, yeah, dude, we played with you guys back in the day. And then it's like, oh yeah, we're friends. We've known each other for a long time. And you don't realize that these are people that that are in these bands that you're listening to. You know what I mean? It's like, and then they're sending me pictures of them in Deserter shirts and they're on tour in like Australia and shit. And I'm like, fuck.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. That doesn't suck. It makes me feel relevant. It's super validating. And you know what I mean? It feels good. But it's just, to to have like local bands, you never just want to write off a band as just like quote unquote a local band.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know their connections and you don't know where they're going to be in the next 5 years. You just don't, you know. I always feel like the worst thing that ever happened to the local scene is their own local scene, you know.
Oh, yeah.
When bands don't back each other up, it just turns into this like a crabs in a bucket situation. And really none of them get out to breathe, you know, if everybody's talking shit. You know, I got lucky in Southern California because it didn't work that way for me. I was in a band called Burden of Guilt before Deserters, and we toured a lot. And we toured a lot. I did my first full U.S. tours and stuff with them. I don't want to say I toured a lot, but my first few tours I did was with those guys, and toured with another band called Mantis and stuff. And just like, again, it's like, you know, a bunch of local dudes. Like we're just guys from Riverside making it happen. You know what I mean? It's like kind of, I see local bands all the time just kind of get out of it and just kind of, if you're nice to the bands, if you start opening up for national acts and you're super nice, don't kiss ass. But if you're super cool and you're rememberable, you know what I mean? Yeah. Memorable, then like, you know, bands do go, hey, you know, what do you know, we've got this band dropped off and we've got this leg of the tour, and the first show of that leg of the tour is in your neck of the woods. You guys want to jump on this? You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, their booking is like, hey, these guys actually know how to handle their shit on the road. Why don't we just start booking them? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It snowballs from there. So when bands just kind of play this whole like, I'm better than you, and you know, fuck this pond. You know what I mean?
There was a lot of bands that were like that. They had to make themselves more hardcore than they really were, just to their image.
Right.
And you're like, man, I don't even want anything to do with you. You're a dick.
The way I always told it, it's like, especially like when I was touring with Deserters and we're a national act and stuff, and we get to like some place, and you know, I don't know, I don't want to say some place because I'll probably have somebody there be like, what the fuck, dude? But like, you know, let's say I get into some place, we just drove 16 hours, and the local band, for some reason they have it in their head, if I'm more of, they think, well, if you're in a national band, you're probably a dick. So I'm going to out dick. You know what I mean?
The dick.
I'm gonna be the biggest asshole in the room, and it's gonna gain me some kind of notoriety. I don't know what it is that goes through local bands' heads, but that's what they do. And it's like, dude, you could have just been like, hey, bro, I know you're not from around here. Let me take you to my favorite taco joint. You know, like fuck this venue. I'm sure you're over it. And it's like, you know, you're the best friend. You're my best friend. I don't know anybody else within a 2,000-mile radius or whatever. You know, 100-mile radius or whatever. So it's like, you're the best friend I got. You know, and that's how you make a relationship. That's how you know, the next thing you know, you know, their new record comes out and somebody's texting me, dude, I really like your sound on that. What'd you use? You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's just a good recipe in human life.
Right.
So some people just don't know how to get past that, being a dick.
Right. You know, they show up in the local band, it's just a bunch of assholes, and it's like, man, this sucks. You just drove 16 hours or 8 hours or whatever to get out of this van to have the local bands be like, nah, dude, this is our hood. Recognize our clout while, you know, that you just walked into. And it's like, great, dude. Where's the nearest McDonald's, man?
I just want to eat and go to sleep
exactly.
and shower,
yeah,
maybe.
I just want a McDouble, and I want a fetal position in the back of the van. Yeah, I just want a cupcake with. Yeah, exactly, dude. That's why. Fuck, dude.
So what was life like on the road? So what was your longest tour?
I don't know. I mean, we did tours back to back, so sometimes it's not just like one tour. You know what I mean? I think I did like a 2.5 month stretch at one point. We were out for like a month, and then we had like a turnaround where I was stuck in, I can't remember what area, in Alabama. We used to stay at this place called the Brotel. Yeah.
That's not good.
No, dude, it was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another band from that area, and there's like 5 dudes, and they lived in this huge ass house, and they called it the Brotel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, we used to stay there when we were in that area. We had this like turnaround. So we ended up staying there for like 3 or 4 days. And we were just back. We had to be, I don't remember. I think the tour started in Virginia or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were out for, I don't know. I got to look at my tour lamb, and it's like, I got them around here somewhere.
Did you collect them all?
No, yeah, of course. Well, and you lose a bunch, you know, from sleeping on them, or, you know what I mean? They just get bent and, you know, broken off your keychain.
Yeah.
At some point you do so many, and it's like you just kind of don't, you know. I used to joke with everybody like, I'm only in this for the tour laminates, dude. The only thing
or the hotel keys if you're lucky enough.
Right. Yeah, I used to have a shoebox of those, but I don't. Yeah, I have them somewhere. But if I go through and look at them, I'm sure I could tell you. But I mean, everybody thinks, all right, so they hear the word tour and they think hookers and tour buses and blow, and it's absolutely none of those things. It's five smelly, ugly dudes, smashed in a van, arguing over the last McDouble, or you know what I mean? You got your bass player in the back all emo because like some chick he's crushing on just posted some photo with some dude on Instagram, and you know what I mean?
It's like a one big family road trip.
You can hear your drummer cupcaking with his lady in the back while the other one's pouting. And it's, you know what I mean? Like we're in the front, three of us are in the front singing and listening to Alice in Chains, or like at least two dudes are in the front listening to Deftones and I'm trying to sleep, or however it works. You know, It's just a lot of personalities in very close quarters, you know? And it's not like there's just money being thrown around. You're not in the 80s.
Yeah.
And even then, those really bad decisions by those people, it wasn't their money that they're spending. You know, that's why that's why the guitar player of Rats ends up a fucking roofer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you just burn through millions? Well, you started by spending somebody else's money.
Yeah, it wasn't yours to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. We never did that. We didn't take tour support, and we didn't borrow against our band. So,
see, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that going for us, thank God.
So, when you guys, who booked your shows? Did you guys do it, or did you have someone do that for you, or is it a mixture of the two?
Well, Deserters, we went through a few different booking guys. Daniel DeFonce, he's a golden god in booking now. I mean, he was even back then. And that's like the weird thing. It's like, wow, he's grown so much, and he's doing these huge national, like international acts and doing huge things. But even back then, it was like he was always doing things a little bit bigger than I think he'd even realized. You know what I mean? Like, especially like, it's kind of like when you're in the middle of it. You know, like sometimes you're booking bands or you're doing stuff for bands that you don't know. They're in their infancy. You know what I mean? So you don't realize who you're booking. You're just doing the damn thing for something that you love.
Yeah.
And it just ends up that you're just, that huge band that's been around for like 10 years now. You know what I mean? 10 years gets behind you pretty quick. And then it's like, oh, fuck, now you're real somebody. You know what I mean? That guy's got some clout. If anybody's like trying to like get booked, I don't know if he'll take, he would hate me and be like, oh, thanks for all the fucking stupid emails, Cheez. You don't,
dick.
Yeah. Don't email Daniel DeFonce. Don't do it. But yeah, he booked us for a long time, and we went through, these are ages ago. I mean, the singer of Backtrack booked us for some stuff. Daniel, the guitar player of a band called Gideon, he booked us. He was booking. Deserters never booked ourselves.
Okay.
We never had to go through that heartache, really, you know. I mean, I've never had to book my own show personally. I don't know what that's like.
I've only done it a few times because I was a drummer.
Oh, okay.
So, no one cared about what the drummer thought.
No, I mean, I wasn't always as solid as I am now. I was pretty flaky and drunk for a long time.
That kind of makes a problem.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't think anybody ever really trusted me to be like, yeah, you know what, go ahead. Let's
go talk with him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and send Cheez to the promoters, and he'll get us the best deal possible for sure.
And we will all know about it.
Yeah, I'll be like, fuck it, dude, the door deal, we just want bar, and by bar, I just want to drink the bar. Yeah, I would have fucked us all over. Yeah, no. Thank God I wasn't any part of any kind of business end of any of the bands I've been part of.
Oh, to be young.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't miss that part of it, and it's not like I don't know. It's not like I was too wild, I mean, on the road for the most part, I mean, I did lots of sober tours. I did lots of, you know what I mean? Like where I was kind of tour doctor, tour dad, if you will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's got to be rough.
Well, dude, I mean, so I started touring when I was like 18. I did my first U.S. tours being the youngest guy on the road to being like, all right, I'm 27 and now I'm the oldest guy on the tour. And there's all these like youngsters,
Now you're the well-wisdomed
yeah,
one.
well, it's exactly, you know what I mean? I've been through it. So you get these guys on the road and it's their first tour and they think they have arrived, and they'll just go and run themselves ragged. They're a week into their tour and they're all just perpetually fucking hungover, and they've got sand castles in their sinuses, and they can barely function, and they're like, oh, their band's not going to last very long at all.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm over there like trying to cram them full of vitamin B12 and like, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Don't drink as much, kid. Come on, bud. You can do it. You know, I'm trying to help. But yeah, you turn at some point, you just, you know what I mean? You kind of throw it in. I can't be on the road and fucking wake up and, you know, up in a different state from the rest of the band and shit. Like, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, that would be rough.
There's a lot to lose. Hey, you know, I like to be responsible. I like to do all the drives it helps keep you sober and, you know, count the merch and things like that.
That's good.
If you're trying to keep your head screwed on straight, just pile on the responsibility. That's what it is.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah. You know,
Maybe sometimes responsibility is what helps you out.
Yeah. No, I've had some wild ones, and I've had some super square ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's some things that I won't do. You know what I mean? Like I won't put myself in positions where I would like physically maim myself on the road. You know what I mean? Things like that. Even if we had a day off and, you know, let's go snowboarding. It's like, I don't probably.
There was another band I was going to talk to. They posted a video. They were at a skate shop cutting the wood, and I'm like, oh, don't cut them fingers off.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose. Ain't be paying no bills no more.
Dude, I'm not. Yeah, you're not gonna catch me fucking sticking my digits near any blades. I mean, I work with them, but I do the whole like super square thing. Like, you'll catch me with a safety vest on using this.
I ain't getting hurt, son.
Yeah, you know, I'm just using using the skill saw with a safety vest and shit. My digits are important, man. Yeah.
Well, hell yeah. So let's talk about the Veiled Wrath. Now, is that
Vile Wrath?
Vile? Okay, Vile Wrath. Is that? Are you guys a band playing shows, or you're not?
So you caught us. You caught us right out the gate. We just dropped our first little demo EP thing. You know, in November, and it is members of Deserters.
Okay.
So it's Will O'Brien. We've got Ant. We've got Jake. And me. So it's a 4-piece. So it's the 4 of us.
2 guitar players or 1?
2 guitar players. Will sings and plays guitar. He's the other guitar player of Deserters as well.
Okay.
And Jake plays drums. He's also the drummer of Deserters. And Ant is our bass player. He plays bass. He was the original bass player of Murder, Death, Kill.
Why does that sound familiar?
They're like
Okay.
You should scope them out. They're pretty gnarly.
Okay. So you guys just barely started getting together. What made you decide to come back together?
Well, Will and I have been like kind of bouncing ideas off of each other for a while now, and we just I think it just kind of came to a head. Will's got he got himself a bunch of like cool new gear, and I was like,
I need some.
Man, I want a new Randall too, dude. And so then exactly. So I started just like piling on gear, and you know, I really like some of the stuff he was working on, and he was able to get everything like a full, complete idea, and it's just kind of like I kind of horned in on it to be honest. I just kind of horned in like, well, you're not gonna do this without me. So
this ain't happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's he's just like, I got this thing going on, and I'm like, well, that's fucking rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not just gonna watch you do that. So I kind of invited myself, but he was more than happy to have me. You know, it's not
work.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we didn't spend 4 years crammed in a van together. So we're totally
homies.
Yeah, exactly. We can do it. You know.
So on this one, so I'm assuming you down-tuned, because I'm looking at your guitars here and you're using the fat strings. So I'm assuming you're not playing E's.
No. Well, Deserters is in drop A. This is in drop G.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
You are down there.
Yeah, we're down there. I've got a 7-string over there, and we have both. You know what I mean? But we prefer 6 strings.
Okay.
That ESP where you're looking at, the white one, is the one I used in Deserters. I used that, and you'll see that in like music videos and stuff. And then the other one on the right, I've got a 1986 PV Vortex 2. That thing is totally bitchin'. But that thing, it's got a Kaler, it's the floating bridge, but that thing it takes the G. It holds it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have issues with them going like these ones, the Flying V's. You don't have issues with them going out of tune.
No. Well, that's a dead stock bridge on there. It's the floating bridges. You have to be careful when you're tuning down. Those the tension on the strings and things like that get a little wonky. That's for sure. But it's Kaler all the way. Floating bridges. Kahlers. Buy
Nice.
one. I don't know why they ever went under. They're in business now, but they were huge in the 80s. And everybody started using Floyd Roses and stuff. But all those old school BC Riches that you see Chuck Schuldiner playing, and you see like Kerry King from Slayer, and like all those badass, the guys that used the fucking whammy, but like that actually used the thing. Yeah, that's a Kahler. It's a Kahler floating bridge. They come on like old school custom carvings and stuff like that, which I'm a big sucker for too. That's what that is over there. Oh, you can barely see it poking out. There's a gold painted guitar there.
Yeah.
Back there, it was a prop that I saved from a prop house. Yeah, it's a Carvin DC 125 that somebody spray painted head to toe.
Just here's a guitar we want to spray paint.
We need a gold guitar, so let's spray paint it. Yeah, we need a gold guitar. Let's find something on OfferUp, and money is money. I guess if I don't know, some poor soul might have been selling it for $200, and somebody in a production company thought, well, that's in the budget. We could buy that and spray. I don't know. Whatever. Way to make a $1,500 guitar worth $50, fuckhead. It's a crime,
You dirty bastard.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. it hurts my heart a little bit looking at it, but that's why I got it.
You got to save it.
Yeah, I had to save it.
So are you going to try and do something with it?
Yeah, me and Will, we're going to try to bring it back. Will has a shit ton of carvings. He's been using them since like he was a kid. He's got one like Nick. He's got like a couple customs, and one of them's called the Tank that's named after his dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we both have played that. There's pictures of me and him playing that thing online. I'll show them to you later. That thing is it, and by the Tank, it thing's super heavy. It's a gnarly.
Like hurt your shoulders when you're playing?
Yeah, dude, but it sounds like God speaking. It's a monster of an instrument. Yeah. Yeah, Will's been using them for years and years, and I used one even before I had met Will. So it's one of those things that we've always had in common. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, dude, we're sucker for those carving guitars, I'm not... I don't. That's the only one I own right now. But Will's probably got like 2 or 3 of them, I think. Yeah.
And yours is gold,
Lucky
though.
bastard. Yeah, mine's gold. I've got the golden Carvin. Yeah. If anybody hears this or knows somebody that works over at Carvin, I know a couple people over at Fender. I'm trying to sweeten them up. Like, dude, sneak this thing in there. Whatever you got to do at this point, just shy of. You probably. Look at it. Probably does it need sanding? What am I supposed to do? Rub it down with fucking nail polish remover, dude? Is that no matter what I do, it's gonna take the finish off,
Oh yeah, that ain't going back to normal.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a beautiful little piece of instrumentation there that got spray painted all willy nilly style that I'm hoping we can put some life into. But yeah, I got that from a prop shop. Yeah, it's like it's in the attic, like where my buddy's a director, and I was like, David, you can't. Can I please have this thing?
And he let you have it?
Yeah, he was like, Merry Christmas, dude. It's just up there. What are you supposed to use it for? Use it for a different shot, spray paint it pink. Speaking of which, there was.
The pink one?
Yeah.
You had a gold and pink guitar?
Yeah, but it wasn't a Carvin. It was like a 1988 fucking BC Rich that he had spray painted. He spray painted it pink. But not just spray painted pink. It had glitter, not just any old glitter granules. Yeah. Like think rock salt but glitter. Yeah. Anyway, it's a fucking crime.
Did you say next time you spray paint a guitar, consult with me?
I didn't even want to bother getting all heartache. Yeah, you can't get heartache about that shit. It's gone. That shit's dead. You know what I mean? Dead. Again, it's aside from taking all the hardware off of it and giving it an acid bath, I don't know what the fuck else you're supposed to do to it. And if you're going to go that far, is it
Yeah, well, then you're going to have to sand the whole thing down, and then now you just got a chunk of wood.
I don't got that kind of time.
Yeah.
I don't. So, whatever. I just sit here and lose sleep over knowing that shit exists, though.
That people have done such things.
Dude, it's crimes. But that's been my new thing lately is just like being on OfferUp and trying to get gear and like, move things around. So if anybody's listening, I have a fucking Bugera 333 XL that I'm trying to trade for something cool. Holler at me.
Word?
Yeah, it's 120 watt all tube. Yeah, thing's badass.
Yeah, me and my boss used to sit there at work. Check this out, dude.
Oh yeah,
this dude's got some rims. There's some drum rims. Let's go buy them. All right.
Oh, it's crazy. It'll be like 2:30 in the morning, and my phone will be all bling, and it's like my buddy Will or my boy Jeff. Like, dude, look at this fucking road case I found.
What do you think?
Yeah, random shit too. Like, or it'll be like, or sometimes it's like something so random, and it comes with a story. It'll be like bling, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what is this? Like a microchip? And then like 20 minutes later, after me just looking at it puzzled, then I'll get the message like, oh, I'm thinking about putting together my own pedals. How did we get from a weird random microchip you just sent me to like, that's, you know what I mean? You think you would have started with that. Hey, dude, I'm thinking about getting into pedals. I found this microchip. This is a good place to start. But no, you're going to wake me up at 2:30 in the morning with a random photo of a microchip that has no reference. I have no frame of reference to. Thanks for the photo of a microchip, bud.
That's awesome. Yeah, I went to, because I was going to get a big road case to put all my recording stuff in just so it was more movable. So I bought a case out in Corona and literally walked up. It was a case, but they had it was a Mackie mixing board. It was, I think, 20 tracks or something, just sitting outside, and it had rained under right on top of the case with nothing on it. I'm just like,
why didn't you take it home?
I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It had already been soaked. It was just, I'm like, oh my gosh.
You hang it upside down out to dry, man.
Maybe I should have, but.
Dude, that's what I would have done.
And he goes, I'm like, so what's going on with this? He goes, I don't know. It's my dad's. You want the case?
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe I should have, but I couldn't believe it. It had just been sitting outside under the rain.
Yeah. I would have been like, dude, that's, first of all, this thing's worthless. Can I take it home and at least salvage the knobs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I would have done something. I don't know. I'm all trying to. I always say something like that, and then I show up here with some dumb shit I didn't need, and my girlfriend's like, "What is that?
Where are we gonna put that?"
Yeah, you know. And all of a sudden, a mixer shows up with flying faders. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not obsessed, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Mind your business.
Yeah. Well, part of it is it's like, you know, it's a hobby, but it's also like you and I were talking about earlier, it's you know, I mean, I'm an engineer as well as a musician, and you know, I don't like to outsource everything. If I can do some stuff in house, you know what I mean, I'd like to be able to do that.
So when you guys did your demo, did you do that? Did you go to a studio?
So that stuff is mixed elsewhere, right? but that's all self-recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, the tracking's done all in-house. It's not, we didn't go to a studio. It's, you know, that's our cabs mic'd, our heads at our pads. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, and I mean, no offense to the drummer if he's listening, are those sampled drums? Those are his drum recordings, or was there a mixture?
It's like a mixture. So he actually has like a drum studio.
Okay.
But there's like, the drums on that, where there was a lot of back and forth going back on that, on that recording about that actually. Yeah.
Was it not good?
I don't even, you know, I'm not the drummer, and our engineer, like, he's a really great guy, and he did a really great job, and I really like the way everything sounds now. But there was, I don't know. I think it had something to do with, there was at one point files missing, and then there was, we found them, and then, you know what I mean?
Oh dear.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a thing. There was some retracking that had to happen, and I mean, it's a demo. It's a 4-song. We're not doing a full length. You know what I mean? And again, it's not like we're trying to do low quality things, but at the same time, we're just, you know, we're just kind of feeling ourselves out. This is the general direction we're going. We're working on a full length, and that's going to be more of a complete thought and more of a polished product. For sure.
Would that one you do as much as you can at home, go to a studio, or more at studio, or how would that be if you're going to do that later on? You know,
we're kind of, you know, we're on the fence. We're on the fence because, I mean, I think it'll be kind of a co-produced kind of situation, you know, co-engineered. You know, obviously the tracking is going to be done all by us. You know, I don't trust anybody with miking my cabs.
Okay.
I just don't. And if you've ever recorded and then have somebody, you know, just reamp your stuff without telling you and try to, you know what I mean? Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining anyway. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you earlier, I'm an engineer as well. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't need some dude, you know what I mean? I don't need it. You just have more control, you know what I mean? But the mixing and things like that and mastering, of course, like I've been touring and I've been staring into monitors for years. You know, all that wear and tear in my ears pretty much makes me, you know what I mean, unusable as mastering and full on mixing goes. But yeah, I think it's going to be a dual effort still. I just think, you know, everything's going to be a lot more. We're just going to spend more time and money on it on the full length.
Would you still include the songs you put on the demo, or that's going to stay on the demo? You're going to write a whole new batch?
You know what? I think it's probably going to be a whole. It's going to be a whole new batch.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe. I mean, I think that's what's been decided. I mean, I've got a couple things pre-pro'd that I can show you when we're through here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can scope it out.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our singer and guitar player Will, he just had a baby on New Year's. Or wait. He's gonna kill me. He's listening at Christmas.
He had a baby sometime.
Yeah. Christmas. He had a Christmas baby. So it's like, it's time thing. Right now he's got brand new baby.
Yeah,
so,
that takes time and dedication.
Right. Yes, yeah. And he's not, he's not a lazy guy at all. He's definitely, you got to tell him to sit down kind of dude. But, I think something will happen sooner than later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, we're already doing pre-pro stuff.
Okay.
So a lot of it is just bouncing back and forth. You see my recording setup here. It's not very amateurish, and he has the same thing over at his pad. And like I said, our drummer has his own a studio at his house.
Like he has a studio for him, or does he use it for others?
He has a studio for him.
Okay.
And he does use it for other stuff as well, but not. I mean, I don't know what it's like. He has a few friends and things like that. But he does tracking for other bands and things like that, and he does a lot of demo work for other people that are writing.
Okay.
But he's up north. He's like 7 hours away.
Like
8
Sacramento?
hours away. Yeah.
Oh. How does that, I guess you used to be in the band, but that's a huge.
He's always been up there, even when we were in Deserters.
So how'd you guys practice? Did you come down or something?
No, we write like here's what I've been doing, and I'm like, oh, that's rad. Pause. Let me come at you with something else, and like, oh hey, or Will will come at me like, hey, Cheez, that thing you sent me, I've been reworking it. What do you think? And I'm like, dude, that sounds amazing.
It's almost like a Zoom band.
Yeah, well, before, I mean, we've been doing it this way for a long time because we all live so far. You know what I mean?
Hey, if it works, nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely, and I mean, it's executable. So even back when we were touring, it was like we would all have the set list, and so it's like we'll practice this, and we would meet up at a lockout here in North Hollywood. For a day, and then we'd go on tour for a month. Everybody, but I mean, our drummer went to MI and stuff like that. Everybody in our band is legit. We're professionals. You know what I mean? We show up, we know the material, we're ready to do the thing.
You're not just winging it.
Yeah, I don't show up that day before we leave for tour like, oh man, I hope we get it together. I already know what I'm doing. We all know what we're doing.
I don't know the last two songs.
We're just locking it in, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way we've always done it. Yeah, we would literally just take a day or two to practice, like a whole day, 2 whole days to practice, and go on tour for 3 weeks after not seeing each other for a month between tours or something like that. Sometimes we don't see each other for 2 months, and we're just meet at a lockout for a day. Practice the set list we discussed like weeks before through email, so we know what songs specifically we should be practicing, and we always throw a couple extra in there. And sometimes we're at a show and somebody wants to hear something, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, have you practiced that one in a while? Somebody's got their eyebrow up, and it's like, well, all right,
Well, that definitely takes chemistry.
Take a shot.
To not get to you're not getting together, and then all of a sudden, like, one day you do, and now you're at least can function. Because I mean, I've played in bands where you just don't click even after months of practicing.
Oh yeah, and it's the total opposite with us. Yeah, we don't see each other for like weeks or a month, and then we get together to go tour a record we just released. Yeah.
Hey, if it worked,
yeah,
you can't hate on that.
No, absolutely not. No, we've all known each other for years, so we just kind of we're all grown men. We give each other the space. It's not like we're all tugging each other around and like, well, we're gonna need you to expect this,
Yeah.
And again, Vile Wrath isn't signed or anything. We're just, we want to play metal, and we want to open up for our friends when they come through. You know what I mean? My friends are in like this band Body Snatcher. These guys are amazing. You know what I mean? They're playing all these awesome shows. Maybe in the future I could weasel myself out on one. Who knows? You know what I mean? It would just be cool,
Would you guys tour? Like, if you got the chance, would you tour? Or would it have to be something small?
I mean, I would. You know what I mean? My what I do permits me to do that. I work in film, so it's like I could take the job or not take the job. You know what I mean? Unless I'm like, if I'm working on a TV show or a legit like a Netflix feature or something like that, then it's like 6 or 7. It's like 9 weeks of solid work or however long it's filming is. But even then, it's like, I can choose to not take the job after that. I can I can go on tour for 3 weeks, but I don't know if everybody else in the band. I mean, we've talked about it, to be perfectly honest, and yes, we are willing to tour. but it would be, you know, we're not trying to go on tour for 2 months.
Yeah, you're not making a living on the
I
road.
do not have the heart to argue with these motherfuckers over the last McDouble. You know what I mean?
Been there, done that. Ain't doing that.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's I don't have the fire for that shit. Yeah. Well, for now it would be like the way that I described it to the guys is it's like it would be like you know, a working vacation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to make money, you know.
Just enjoy what you're doing.
I would go on tour to spend it.
Yeah.
You know, why not go on tour and have like a working vacation, play some shows and see some friends that I haven't seen for a while or something like that. I mean, of course I would take, you know, I mean, music is very serious to me and, you know, but it is an outlet and it is a thing of love for, you know what I mean? To do with the people I love. It's not so, it's just, I don't have any kind of like, I'm not trying to make another Black album. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? That's it. I don't have that. I don't have that in me. I'm not trying to fucking, you know, that's it.
Well, I agree with that. That's what I enjoy about it. It's, like you said, it's an emotional release for me and it's just fun to do. It's fun to play. Hey, I don't, you know, not planning on going anywhere with it, but it's fun to do for me.
Yeah, I think it really just takes the sting out of it when you don't put so much on it. You know, when it's your livelihood and all that stuff, it just kind of it really, you know, it has the potential to suck all the fun out of it.
For real.
You know, yeah.
And
I think that's true with anything, but you know, for me, like film is music is art and it's what I do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I really like that part about it. But again, you know, people pay you. In the film industry, they don't pay it in the music industry. You know, it just doesn't work that way. I would go on tour for 2 months and come home from tour and owe my mom $300 because at one point I needed socks and a burrito and some strings and whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, we could take tour support, and it's not that we weren't generating money. We were generating money. It's just that at the end of the day, you know, all these hands in our cookie jar, I'm the last guy to get paid, and God knows when that's going to happen or how much. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then you're always in someone's pocket.
Right. Right.
That's rough.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I never really had like things to call my own back then. You know, now you see, I mean, I've got an apartment and I've got, you know what I mean? I've got a music room and I've got a cat and a beautiful girlfriend and I've got just all these things that I just, you know, when you're touring, you just kind of,
you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, I toured with a flip phone. That's how long I've been touring, bro. I toured
with the old Razor.
I toured with a fucking prepaid flip phone, my man. I've toured with Thomas guides. I've toured with TomToms, and I've toured with fucking Google Maps. I've done it. Yeah.
That's crazy. So let's talk about your job that you do in the film industry. Like, how did you get into that? How'd that happen?
Well, I've got a background in construction and stuff, right? And like, I've got friends that are in the film industry. And in between tours, it was like I'd be super broke, and there'd be like a job happening, and they'd be like, "Hey, Cheez, do you want to jump in on this job? You're pretty handy with a screw gun and a paintbrush, right? You know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, just tell me what I need to do. Keep a low profile, and you know, just pretty much." Watch and learn, and I mean, you PA is what it is. You know, you become a production assistant, and you kind of learn the trade. And I mean, I did that for a good 10 years. You know, but I you know, you end up with responsibilities. You grow in the industry. You learn what set dressing is. You learn different roles, what people do. You know, the difference between the production manager and the, you know, and say, you know. I mean, I don't know. You learn the difference between a set deck and a set dresser. You learn the difference between a production designer and an art director. You learn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the whole lingo and what goes down, who does what, you know. But for me, it was just, hey, you're good at this. You want to make some money in between tours, and it's like, absolutely, yeah, you know. And as tours slowed down for me, I ramped up in the film industry. I'm like, this is amazing.
Okay. So do you put in like a bid for what you want, or do they call you? How does that work?
Yeah, my friend, you know, my friends called me. You know, it was kind of like, hey, dude, a job came up. Are you available? Do you want to be on it? And I'm like, absolutely, I do. You know, and so I would be on it, and these are like non-union jobs and stuff. And, I always would look at the big boys in the union, doing the movies and doing the real stuff and just doing cool shit. And I'm like, that's what I want. When I grow up, I want to do that, and it took me 10 years, but I'm union now. Now I'm local 44. I'm an affiliated property craftsperson. So I'm a set dresser. I do prop assisting. Swing gang,
What's that? That sounds.
It's like you go back and forth. It's what you need me to do, I'll do it.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's art department. So there's different productions or different departments. There's like grip department and there's electric department. There's production. So I'm art. I do art department. I make everything look pretty.
Nice.
Ta-da! Yeah. So that's what I do. Yeah, I being here is so much, I used to live in Riverside, downtown Riverside, and I used to have to commute coming back and forth from downtown Riverside.
That's a long drive.
Oh, dude, it sucks, especially after working like 14 hours on set.
Yeah.
You just want to die. Driving an hour and a half or being stuck in, fuck me, dude. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that, But now I'm here in between Universal and Warner Brothers, and it's like I can, they're like, hey, meet so-and-so at the truck lot, and then you guys are going to go to Universal to pick this stuff up, and it's like, I'm right here,
Yeah, I already hear that. That's convenient too.
Hey, dude, I gotta use the restroom. Why don't we swing by my pad?
You
know what I mean? I can do that. That was never a thing,
Yeah, you're like, I guess I ain't going home.
Yeah.
I'll hold it.
Right. But it's it's nice being able to be in the middle of it and be and work in the industry and be union, and you know what I mean.
I've heard that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been union, but I've heard there's definitely benefits.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't cheap getting into it, but the benefits outweigh the, you know what I mean? When you're doing non-union stuff, it's a great opportunity to learn and things like that, but they're not going to give you a pension,
Yeah, you ain't gonna get a 401k, you ain't getting insurance.
Yeah, that's what it is, dude. And I'm just a dumb, you know what I mean? I'm just a dumb metalhead, like you know what I mean? I'm just a dumb, crazy metalhead punk rock guy. I thought I was going to be digging trenches till I was, 80, and that's just going to be the end of it for me, So I lucked out. I mean, really. I worked really hard, and it's about getting the opportunities. I was on a Netflix feature that flipped union, and it got me permitted. So the union permitted me, and I got, there's like a whole process. I don't want to start spilling it out now because then it's just like, well, it's hard to, there's so much to it. You know what I mean? But there's, I got my permitted days, and it's more than that. You have to take all these classes. Once you get your permitted days, there's like contract services, and then so
you're just learning what it is to be a union member.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's more than then there's just and then after you get in there's more classes. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it, but it took like a whole year. After just me getting all my union stuff in order for me to even get sworn in.
And you had to take time off of work and everything else to do it. Like, you weren't doing that during work, right?
No, they're not going to pay me to do that. No. Oh. I mean, they pay to take the classes, but it's different. It's not like an hour. You know what I mean? Yeah. It comes out of like a fun kind of situation deal, and it's not like, it's not like I can take a class online for 8 hours. And like, good. Oh, dude, my rent's totally good, where everything's happy. That's not, you're not like, I'm not getting an education. I'm trying to go to work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a total thing getting into the union, but now it's like, I'm really pumped, and I've invested so much time, and this is really, it's like, I'm a musician, and it's what I want to do for fun, and it is what I do for fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the movies is what I want to do for fun and what I want to make money doing,
Hey, if you can do that, I mean, a lot of people can't even do that. They got their hobbies, and then they go drain their life for 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't like I was always able to do it. Just that's what I do for a job. That's the thing is I used to work security at Kitchen 24 down here on Cahuenga. There's another one in NoHo and in WeHo off of Santa Monica. And those are 24. I used to work there from it was like 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 7 in the morning. I used to stand out there, and then I'd have to be on set at 9 in the morning or like 8:30.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh, legit. And so it's like I only have an hour and a half, and I would just hurry up and drive and get on set. So that, you know what I mean? because I want that job.
Yeah, you had to make ends meet in the
Yeah,
meantime.
yeah, and it's not consistent. It's not like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's not the way it works. When there's a commercial or if there's a job that's available and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" You're like, "Yes, yes, 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 I do." I'm not going to be like, well, the 9 to 5 that you do have or your one steady thing, you kind of stick with it. It's almost like getting into the music industry. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of similarities to it.
So now, are there a lot of random start times, or are they fairly consistent, or is it just whatever?
Depends on the script, man. Depends on the script. I mean, there's a lot of golden hour stuff. There's a lot of, we want to catch the light on this. And
like when the sun's coming down or up kind of thing?
Yeah. There's all that happens. And so, I mean, a lot of the time it's super early. I'd say standard, like the shoot starts, they want you there. It's between, call times are usually 6:30 or 7:30. But I mean, like you're like, not show up there and kind of start getting to go.
Like you're good to go at 6:30.
At 6:30, let's start moving things. Let's get things happening. We want to start calling action at say 8:30 a.m. You know what I mean? And so it's like our department's got to show up and we've got to zhish the set. We've got to primp everything, make things look proper. Things have to get signed off. A lot of the time, I mean, grips are going to show up and electric and the lighting dudes are going to all show up. Every you know what I mean?
So now how does it, like, let's just say they want to do a sunrise, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're building a set, presumably you need lights, but artificial lights aren't quite like the sun lights.
Yeah, they are.
I was like, you make it pretty good? I don't think you could.
No, they fool everybody all the time. I mean,
really?
Yeah, especially sometimes, I mean, when there's outdoor scenes, like let's say you're seeing a commercial and there's people standing around out in a parking lot and you can see the direct sun, shining on their face. That's not going to be the direct sun. They're using the sun probably for ambient light, but they're going to block the direct sun off of them and they're going to add their own soft light. You know what I mean?
Is that just because they control that light? You can't control the sun.
Exactly.
Is that kind of that thing?
Exactly. And you can't have hard shadows. That's what it is. No director is going to be pumped on a hard shadow on anybody's face. You know what I mean? Yeah. And no actor is going to be excited about that either. That just screams amateur.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Hard shadows, man. I mean, I'm just an art guy. I don't even have an eye for that stuff. You know what I mean? People catch that kind of stuff all the time. They're like, man, that was lit weird. And I'm thinking, I was looking at that stupid ass couch they decided to go with. Because I'm more interested in the set dressing. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I wouldn't have picked that couch out of all the ones they had laying around.
So do you do that now when you watch shows? You go, who the hell? Or that looks clever. Or when you watch things?
Yeah.
Your eye and everything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I'm always telling, I have to shut up. You know what I mean? When it's just me and my lady, it's not so bad for me to stop and interrupt everything because I'm like, oh, you know how they did that? Because she actually likes it, But I can't do that in a group, But sometimes people ask me, they're like, Cheez, what are they doing there? And I'm like, oh, that's 5 different shots. Oh, that's how they did it. Yeah, that's like they probably spent 5 different days shooting that one scene. That's why like you can kind of notice sometimes the ambient light is a little bit different in certain shots.
Okay.
Or like, all of a sudden it looks kind of overcast when just a moment ago it was very sunny. You'll notice things. I mean, there's ways to correct it in post, and they do. You know what I mean? But I can catch it a lot of the time. My girlfriend and I are watching 1920, whatever that is. It's like the sequel to 1890.
Oh, yeah, the Western thing.
Yeah. And I'm watching that, and I'm... there's this scene where they're in the town and they're walking down Main Street, and I'm like, man, they did a really good job on that. And she's like, what? And I'm like, after that 4th building, it's a flat. That's not real. That's all done in post. And she's like, oh, wow. Now I can tell. Yeah, but you would have never if I didn't bring attention to it.
Like you would just thought that's a...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like a street, but there's only 4 buildings on each side of the street that are legit, maybe 5. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Yeah, and everything else is done in post. It's just a big old flat green screen, or they might have built a little town on a what's called a sound stage. It's like they build them in like big old aircraft, old airplane hangars. That's what they look like.
So is a lot of stuff done in post nowadays? Like it seems like everything has CGI and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean it depends. I don't watch a lot of like CGI heavy things like that. You know what I mean? I watch Chopped.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Cooking shows. I watch Antique Roadshow. I watch things that don't involve that stuff at all.
Okay.
You know what I
Fair
mean?
enough. Yeah. You're not watching Avatar?
No, it's just not. I don't know why I'm not. It's not that I'm not a cinematic creature. You know what I mean? I watched Space Odyssey the other day. I like old school films. You know what I mean? I guess, and it's
more realistic.
Yeah, well, I like
or authentic.
I like super heavy set dressing. You know, like time period stuff. You know what I mean? Star Trek is bitching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love what they decide to do with all that. You'll notice little cool things that they're doing. And I'm like, oh, they totally repurposed that thing and they flipped it upside down and spray painted it gold and voila, you've got a fucking Martian throne.
2 for 1.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I like spotting stuff like that. You know.
So have you ever come across something like that? For example, when you're working on a set and an idea that you'd seen somewhere else, you're like, hey, we can do something like that. Does that ever happen?
Yeah, you pick up tips and tricks for sure. There's also like let me see. I'm trying to think. Like I'd say Greeking. You know, when people are putting fake labels on things like that. You know.
I don't know if I know what that is.
So Greeking is like if they're shooting if they're filming like say a convenience store and there's like labels all over the place. Those labels have to be cleared. You can't have say Trident gum all over the place.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
You can't have this that brand blah blah blah. You've got all that stuff has to be cleared. So Greeking something is you make it look I don't know, it's Greek to me, right?
Okay, fair enough.
So you just kind of you change the labels around ever so slightly.
So that it's still there, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like it.
So it's Doritos. You know what I mean? You might do something like that, or block out a letter or two, or things like that. And I'm always that changes between, but that's like between the crafts person that's specific to them. Some people block out the whole brand name. Some people just block out a couple letters. Some people make them look like something different. You know what I mean?
And that's a preference to whoever set it up. Huh?
Yeah, it's a technique. So I like to watch that. I like to look out for things like that.
Okay.
Things that take technique. Like, yeah, there's more than one way to do everything. And 90%, 99% of what you're doing on set is problem solving. It's all troubleshooting. How do we make this look the way we want it to? And you can cheat stuff in front of the camera all the time. Okay. I don't know. I want to see more of that thing on the bottom. Those cameras are huge and they're heavy. So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna raise the camera, which is super easy, or they want a certain angle, which requires us to move the tracks of the camera or something? Well, why don't we just run in there and stick it on Apple boxes? We'll just raise the thing up. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, make it easier rather.
Yeah, and it sounds dumb and it sounds self-explanatory. And when you've got 12 people standing around on set, sometimes that doesn't happen. And you do these gnarly things where it's like, well, I want to move the set, 90 degrees this way. And it's like, let me go talk to the camera guys real quick. Can we move the camera 90 degrees right here? Yeah, dude, let me talk to that director.
Rather than the whole...
exactly. Yeah, do we have the space to just, let me talk to that director.
So is it kind of like a producer or whoever has an idea and you're like, wow, that's just, here's an easier way to do it.
Yes.
Like that kind of thing?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of thinking minds and a lot of moving parts on set,
Yeah.
So, and me, I'm just a set dresser, so I stay quiet a lot of the time. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, we don't like the way this looks. Cool, let me fix that. Or let's say someone's doing a scene where like they're throwing pies at each other. God forbid. Then they go reset.
Now you got to go clean
Oh
everything?
my God. And we got to give everybody fresh fucking pies. And
Just to do it again.
Yeah, yep.
Like, you bastard.
Oh, yeah. I've done some commercials where we've got to, work with some, I can't say for who, but there was some pancakes involved and we're flipping pancakes. It's just like, you know what I mean?
I'm going to pee on your door handle when I leave.
Hundreds of pancakes. Yeah, God. Yeah, it's being on set's fun and no job is the exact same. That's the thing. There's no formula. That fits all, It's not like you just show up to one and that's the way,
You do the same thing repeatedly over and
over. Yeah, I
over.
can't shoot a Target commercial the same way I shoot, a commercial for Arby's. You know what I mean, or something else, or I can't. Music videos are different. We want things to look. Things are called when something's moving and something has to perform a certain way. It's called a gag. Right? Like, let's say, okay, well, they're going to walk through this archway and then we're going to have confetti shoot out of these things. That would be considered a gag.
Okay.
Right. Like those are the real fun parts of the job too. You know what I mean?
Figuring out how to get that to
Yeah,
work and
all right.
do that.
Yeah, yes, exactly. You know what I mean? And doing it safe and things like that. And it's like,
Safe's the key word.
yeah, well, and like even being weary because it's like I'm not an effects guy, and like, all right, we're gonna totally like stick a charge in this thing and it's gonna go pop, and I'm thinking, well, that's right next to this like $800 like lamp that we have rented from Universal, dude. Maybe we should mention that to the effects guy. You know, things like that. Again, you know what I mean? There's a lot of moving parts.
I'm assuming there's a lot of. Is there good communication, or it just depends on the set? Some are better than others.
Some are better than others.
Oh.
Some are better than others, and there's like really fun. There's really fun sometimes like interdepartmental quarrels. You know, I did one job where like somebody put an E at the end of grip department on their thing, so it said gripe department over their little area, and so they got all upset, and somebody put an F in front of art department, so our thing said fart department and their thing said gripe department, and you know what I mean, things like that. You know, there's little departmental things that they're long days. You know what I mean? You work 6 or 7, 12 or 14-hour, 15-hour days in a row or whatever. You know what I mean on something.
You're not 9 to 5.
No, absolutely not. And you do things to find joy and to keep each other going. It's very positive for the most part. I don't really get in these jobs where like everybody's tearing each other down on set. You know, it's very positive, very professional, very nice work environment.
Do you see the same crews? Like, I'm assuming you have your art crew.
Right. Yeah, I work like, you know, I don't work for like a specific production designer, but there are like people that I prefer to work with and prefer to work with me, and will call me with like, hey, I'm on a job, can I count on you? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so I need the gang.
Okay. So it's not like you just show up and a bunch of random people you don't know every
right,
time.
No, not every time, but there are those jobs as well being union. They're like, all right, well, we need, you know what I mean?
We need somebody here and you're the man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that happens.
All right. Well, just out of curiosity, what's the funnest, you know, I don't know, set or whatever you had to work on or design?
Jeez. I don't know, man. I've done a lot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've worked on Billie Eilish music videos, Gwen Stefani, I'm having a brain fart. I mean, Lady Gaga, Puff Daddy, Pharrell, T.I., Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, wow.
I've worked on, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm just not thinking of too. And again, with commercials, I've worked on a lot of different commercials for a lot of different companies and a lot of different products and stuff that are, some are cool, some are stupid. You know what I mean? Some songs are good, some songs are terrible.
For real.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to have to listen to them over and over again for the next 4 days anyway. It's the way it is in a video, you know. It's just, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, they're all, you know what? I did a MasterCard commercial with Gwen Stefani, bro. And we shot that on my birthday, and it was like dumping rain while we were dressing the set, and it was on top of like a huge building down here in LA. So we had to get a crane to bring all the set dressing and all the props and everything up, and that one for some reason was just, it was really satisfying to do because it looked great, and it was one of the first jobs where like I got to kind of break away from my normal crew and learn some new things and some aspects of you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of get away from doing the like, you know, graduate from being the like, hey, can you grab this out of the truck, to hey, get that dude to grab that stuff out of the truck so we can do this. And I'm like, cool, all right, strap in, we're gonna do this. Yeah,
put on the big kid pants.
All right, yeah. So it's like I got, you know what I mean? I was able to I got a little bit of responsibility on that job. So it was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That one was fun. And it just, again, it looked really cool. I mean, there were some really cool props. She pulls the lever on this thing that has a cannon that shoots like a MasterCard fold, like a envelope thing out of it or whatever. And then like there's another part where this golf cart drops from the sky and golf balls fly everywhere. That was a whole lot of fun. Yeah.
So how'd you do that? Like, do you stuff them in the golf cart?
No, well, so I had to actually brainstorm with a couple extra people, and what I had, we were thinking, well, do we want to stand over it and just drop them on top? But we want it to hit and then everything bounce off top, kind of, you know what I mean? So we had them all kind of situated on top of the golf cart. So when the golf cart, we had the golf cart rigged on cables. and then we raised it up with a crane, and then with a pin, we pulled the pin, and the golf cart dropped from the crane and would bounce on the ground, and all the golf balls that we had situated on top would then after that hits the ground, then the balls, you know what I'm saying? You know how, I mean, it's science. So, yeah, that's how we managed to do that shot. It was a lot of fun, you know.
Well, that sounds like it's never a dull day at work.
No, I mean, there are.
Oh, yeah?
Well, sometimes, so when the set's already dressed and they're like, you know, okay, well, what do we do? It's already, you know, they're shooting in there, you know, and the actors are in there, you know, doing their dialogue thing. What am I supposed to do?
You still have to be there.
Yeah.
Even though they're whatever.
Well, they might decide, well, let's move, you know, I don't like the way this looks, or, okay, wait, let's try this conversation over here. We're going to move this camera, or, okay, well, now we need a different angle of that same conversation, right? Okay. So they're going to move the camera from right here, you know, say in front of where they're talking. So now I got to move all this set dressing out of the way so that the camera can be moved behind them so that we can get, you know, we need a straight shot on her so we can get her part of the dialogue. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lots of camera moving.
That's kind of cool.
Lots of stuff over and over again.
That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, lots of some of the magic does get taken away. Like I was watching something with my lady the other day, and I'm like, man, that's funny, all the stand-ins they're using for this. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, if you see the backside of somebody's head, it's not that famous actor you're thinking of.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not going to stand there all day so that the person in front of them can get their line right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I mean, they do. It depends on what the set is, or what the scene is. But if it's like a whole, you know, if they're doing a whole page of dialogue to this person and you're seeing the back of that actor's head, that's a stand-in.
Some dude.
Yeah.
Some dude named Bob.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, I mean, and so there's a lot of like stand-in work where I'll call that out to my girl. I'm like, oh, that's a stand-in. Like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. It's like, no, dude, George Clooney ain't going to stand there while this dude just figures that out. Imagine how hard that take was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's lots of stand-in stuff that a lot of people don't realize. You know, the magic behind it is really interesting. You know, it always fascinated me as a kid. It still does now, even though I'm in it. You know what I mean? You know, you watch E.T. and you're like, damn. That's like the heyday of doing film shit. I'm definitely not in that cool. I'm not there yet. You know, maybe someday. Yeah, maybe I'll be in maybe I'll work on the futures, something cool like that, you know. But, you know, it's just, that's some of the great shit. When you see them working on these miniatures and stuff for Star Wars, you're thinking, man,
that's crazy.
Yeah, you know, the shit that they had to do. And I mean, and having directors like George Lucas come storming in and be like, this looks like shit. Could you imagine?
Like, yeah, yes, sir.
Exactly, dude. Could you fucking imagine, dude? I don't know. It's a stressful job, it is. There's a lot of expectations. And you got to be a yes guy. You know, I dare you to tell the director no. Yeah. I dare you.
Well, there's a lot of money for going around, and they ain't got time to wait for stuff.
Nope. And that's why they need professionals.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, then you got to get out of the way. What was that? Oh, we're fine.
Yeah, one I didn't know. So I had a roommate. His uncle worked in a studio down here in Burbank, or wherever Burbank is. So he gave me a tour, and he showed me their Foley room. Like, I didn't even know.
Oh, cool.
What's that?
Yeah.
And then, you know, just a humongous mixing board. And you're like, oh, this is totally awesome.
Yeah. And then they've got these weird, like, sound tanks with all these, like, dirt and rocks and things. Well, I've been trying to get somebody running through the dirt. You know, trying to track that. Yeah, it's seeing how they like different noises do different things. You know, like the phaser sounds for Star Wars. That you know, is them tapping steel cables that are really taut.
You mean like the telephone pole, like
cables? The telephone cables. You see videos of that on TikTok, like how they do the Foley art. Again, it's problem solving.
Yeah,
they think up the sound. Like, okay, well we need a sound for these things, you know, and you figure it out.
Yeah, I think the one that I did, I think it was Jurassic Park. Like some of the, I don't know, one of the big dinosaurs. They used like a tiger and a couple other weird sounds that they just put together,
meshed them together.
Yeah, that was the sound of which one it was.
Oh yeah, I believe it. My lady took this video of a rooster doing it's like in slow motion the other day. And I swear, if you were ever wondering what the fuck a dinosaur sounded like
that.
That is it. You cannot
slow
tell.
motion
Yeah,
rooster?
yeah. I kid you not. That is it. Mark my fucking words. If you kick the bucket and we like the veil is lifted and we're able to find out cool shit when we die, and God goes, dude, do you want to hear?
You want to hear a real dinosaur?
You want to hear a real dinosaur, bro? I want you, and it sounds like a rooster in slow mo. I want the credit.
I was told this before.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to turn to the Lord and say, Cheez told me about this.
I already knew that sound. I heard that.
Oh God,
That's crazy.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, scope that out.
Yeah.
You can do some pretty cool things with slow mo. My buddy did used to put these like really cool sound effects of like slamming a garage door in slow motion is the stuff of horror.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like boom, like really intense sounding, insane. Yeah, slamming a garage door shut.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in slow motion is the stuff of fucking nightmares. It sounds apocalyptic. Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fun when you just experiment with weird stuff.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got yourself a mixer and some mics, dude. I'm telling you. Especially if you get a wild hair up your ass, why not like find a forum somewhere and be like, is somebody looking for a Foley artist? I'm trying to do something. You know what I mean? There might be some college kid somewhere that's got, a cartoon that he's doing for a project and they need somebody to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to have any sound otherwise. Why not throw your hat in the ring?
Maybe give it a whirl.
I mean, that's how I started mixing these things down to, making them decent. Is you got to give yourself, I guess, with any kind of craft, is you got to put yourself in a position to make the necessary mistakes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You don't want to be in the position where you're making those mistakes in a pinch hit situation. But if you're doing it in the freedom of, your own controlled environment, say, I'd say that's the way to go.
Well, I'll tell you. So when I bought this stuff, it was back in 2010, and I'm like, well, let me find some bands. And so I'm ever grateful to, like, there's a couple punk bands out there in Riverside. They're like, yeah, I don't care. You can do us. First ones I ever did, hey, thanks for letting me do it. I mean, they weren't that great, but they let me do it.
Well, they only get better. You know what I mean? And you as a host and as like, you only get better. You always, you know what I mean? As a musician, as an artist in general at anything, unless you're Kirk Hammett, you're not going to get worse at what you do.
Or Lars Ulrich.
I swear to God, Kirk Hammett's the only guitar player in the fucking history of guitar players to get worse as he keeps going. I don't know. Sorry, Kirk. But
I mean, he is in a band with Lars. Because there's you watch some of the videos and like, dude, just quit.
Yeah, right.
Like I'll see, like when they did the recording for whatever that documentary that is in early 2000, then they had they played a clip of Lars running, and I just thought, man, if I saw that fool on the street, I'd be like, that old crazy creepy bastard.
Yeah, right.
But here he is, a drummer for one of the biggest rock bands.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about any of that stuff, especially when there's like bands, fuck, man, there's so many dudes that are like, bands like Sodom that can't even come to the U.S., you know what I mean? They didn't even have a shot. But if Sodom is, you know what I mean? In thrash bands, have you ever heard of Sodom? Mm-mm. See, they're like considered like, they're kind of like the Metallica of Germany.
Really?
If you will. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, scope those bad boys out. Yeah.
That's what YouTube's for.
They're one of my all-time favorites, yeah. They've got like old school records from the 80s. It's all comparable, you know what I mean? Persecution Mania came out, I think, in 92. There's a song on there called Nuclear Winter, and it's amazing. I mean, it's a thrash masterpiece, and the guitar tone's great, everything about it. It's kind of like how do I describe it to people? Sodom would be like if Metallica and Motorhead had a baby. Like that would pretty much be it,
I got to write this down before I forget.
Yeah. Persecution Mania, Agent Orange is another record that's really great. I've got, I'll show you some of their stuff as well, But again, it's like, it's when you're young and pissed off. I don't know. I just refuse to be 50 and have shit guitar tone. I don't know what the fuck is going on. How do you go from using like Mesa Boogie Mark C pluses, Mark III C pluses with, they used to use the preamps of these gnarly old Mesas through the power sections of Marshalls because it mattered.
Yeah.
Why do you do that if it doesn't? No, you do it because it fucking matters, man. And then you just turn around to not care about your guitar tone anymore. I don't understand. I don't know.
Maybe they're old, then they're just like, whatever. But you wouldn't think. I've heard they're real anal about stuff.
Well, the thing about any kind of notoriety or being any kind of money-generating machine like that is you are a business and you are somebody's boss, which makes you be around a lot of yes people, which is not conducive. Being around yes men does not make good art. It doesn't.
Whoever told Lars that his snare drum on whatever album that was needs to be shot.
Well, nobody's telling him it sucks, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody's there to. There might not be anybody there praising him, but nobody's telling him it sucks.
Look, that sounds like a trash can.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's all miking, and there's like certain. I listen to slam bands. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
If you listen to slam death metal, then there's some comparable snares. There's some comparable snare sounds in some of those albums for sure. But
I mean,
not to sound like I'm fucking defending Saint Anger or anything for Christ's sake, but I'm just saying, hey, we can't all be perfect, dude. You know what I mean?
You got to have your doo-doo albums.
Yeah,
I guess.
that stuff happens. I'll show you some early Burden of Guilt stuff after we're done here, where there's like some chirping. There's chirping in some of my right hand. You can hear it in my guitar tracks. That it's like
hitting something.
Something was going on there. I don't know what. I'll show it to you. I'll share it with you.
Crazy.
Maybe you can even probably put a link to it after the if you want. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. You know what I mean. I haven't shared it in forever. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's heard it since 2005 or something like that. This is like coming up on 20 years old.
Dear.
Thrash metal stuff that I did when I was like 18 and 19, 17 years old. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'll share some of that with you. But yeah, there's like some weird wonky shit, but I still love listening to it. You know what I mean? It's like everybody loves listening to themselves, even if it is total shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've got so I put all my stuff on YouTube a while ago, and some of the early stuff, like I didn't know if stuff went into the red. That's bad.
Oh yeah,
it sounds good.
Can't clip, dude. Well, it sounds good to who? Well, if you don't know what you're looking for, yeah. If you don't know what fucking it up sounds like, I guess somebody has to tell you what that is too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like, let's go.
I just thought there was a weird buzz with the microphone, but it turns out you're clipping. You know that weird crackling sound that happens when you get into the red? You're clipping. Yeah. That. Living and learning, man. But like I said, putting yourself in a position to make the proper mistakes is one of the best things you can do for yourself. I think if you're going to do anything, that you're willing to spend time on doing, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Then the first thing you want to spend time doing is fucking it up in all the ways possible.
Mm-hmm. You definitely have to be willing to take the mistakes with it. You can't just get in and succeed and go. Right. Because that's where you learn.
Right.
Is making them say, oh, well, I don't want to do that, or I do want to do this.
Right. Like, I mean, mixing, like, things like that. Like, I'm showing you, I got this bitch in Icon QCon Pro. You know what I mean? It's a DAW controller. So I don't have songs laying around with 37 tracks. So, you download a multi-track, and I do my own mix of a song. That way I can get to learn the way that this thing's working. So if I get somebody to come in and track, if they're like, hey, Cheez, I'm working on or whatever, I'd like to come track this with you. Like, okay, cool. I'm not in a position to where I'm learning how to use this fucking controller while I'm tracking you. That's obnoxious for both of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an artist, I wouldn't appreciate that from an engineer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And as an engineer, I don't feel like I'm at my full potential if I'm literally in the middle of troubleshooting something while I'm tracking you.
Yeah.
It's just fucked. You know what I mean?
It ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Nuh-uh. I wouldn't appreciate it from my engineer, and I wouldn't do it to you. So again, it's just like, I can download these tracks and I can figure out how I want to compress things or how I like the way that I'm bouncing you know what I mean? Again, getting familiar with the acoustics in the room that you're doing things in is just, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a big part of the ball game. Understanding your parameters, knowing your surroundings, figuratively speaking, in anything you're doing is just key.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting and talking with me. It's been exciting. We'll have to do it again.
It's really been my pleasure. And honestly, anytime, you know what I mean? If you're like, hey, I don't got anybody lined up, let's get Cheez happening again. You can do this anytime. I'd really love to have you.
That's fun. It's just fun to get to know people.
Absolutely.
Like I remember the first time that I met you, is they had a talent show at the church, and I would just remember, here comes this dude. He's got his tats, and Marshall. I'm like, man, the church ain't this metal.
No.
Who the hell is this? And then my wife's mom was like, oh, that's so and so's son or grandson or
Right.
something. I'm like, imagine that.
All right.
So it's a small world.
Yes.
It's life in the big city.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me.
No, really my pleasure. Have a great one.
You too. You too. You too. You too. You too. You too.